a trip over the bridge to visit Video Vision on one of its final days. Another video store has sadly met its fate in the Midwestern area, the Minnesota/Wisconsin area. I got to see the end of Mr. Movies in Hibbing, Minnesota. I witnessed the end of Video Vision in Duluth. And I visited Video Universe near the cities just this past summer, as that one was also closing up shop. But for our area, this is probably the last video store. Full building dedicated to just movies no longer exists. It's been dying for years. And any of the stores that are still standing, it's more of a shock, and it's more of a interesting experiment, I suppose, that they're still, that they're still around. But even the final few video stores that I knew about have been closing in recent years, and Video Vision in Superior, Wisconsin, it lasted a long time. Now, the video rental store is going to be closing, but the building is still going to be used for the tanning beds. This is always something that fascinated me. Like, every video store had tanning beds, not like the major chains, from my knowledge. I never saw a Blockbuster with them, but I'm sure there were a few out there. But a lot of the independent ones, even the one that was in my small town, had tanning beds. They always were included, and I think it was a way to make more revenue, because making revenue simply off of videos, especially once the 2000s rolled around, it probably became more and more difficult to even make money that way. So tanning beds were just another form of making revenue. I tried to search this to see like what was the fascination with doing this, why tanning beds became a popular thing for video stores to go after. I couldn't really find a correlation. Tanning bed available, and it will still be available even after the video store wraps up. Is it going to still be called Video Vision? I'm not sure. But if you look outside right now, it says there's 9 beds. They got 9 tanning beds in there. There's so many reasons for video stores to have closed. One is like the fact that so many of them were knocked out in the early days because of Blockbusters and the giant chains. Then you also had, DVDs. A lot of people had to convert their VHSs to DVDs, and a lot of video stores weren't able to keep up. And then streaming really killed them, of course. I think another thing was just the hassle of video stores. Once there was a better way to rent movies, video stores were not going to stick around. There was no reason for them to stick around after that. If you could rent a movie on your computer and watch it digitally, no one was going to take the time to go to a video store, find a movie, rent it out, return it 3 days later. I mean, even if I wanted to rent from Video Vision nowadays, I'd still have to make a trek over here just to return it. It just made sense that these wouldn't last much longer after streaming. But still, they have way more titles available than a lot of titles that are on Netflix. Even though over the years streaming services have gotten a lot better about older titles, they still don't have nearly as much as what I feel like you can find in the video store. But even then, no one really cares about older movies. Ooh, on Mondays, you rent for $1. Goodbye. Back to the Future again. They also have all this different merch you can buy. All the different Tiny Toons, Looney Tunes. This is actually really cool. This is for the movie, the Howard Stern movie, Private Parts. This is odd, but it looks like it's a actual radio. And of course there's this Mickey Mouse clock with a table. I have a similar one, but this is the more legit one, and it actually works. Okay, but here's one thing you will never see in streaming. Just curious if that neon sign's gonna be available. Just wondering if all these awnings are gonna actually get torn down, if they'll still be using them even when it's just the tanning store. Well, I didn't come out of there with too many movies, but that doesn't really surprise me since most of the movies in there are on DVD. Mostly looking for Blu-ray, and they're not really doing sales yet. I talked to the person up front. Sounded like the store is going to still be open until around March. So I'm going to have to come back here at some point, because the thing I'm really looking for is to see if any other oddities from the past, film memorabilia, things like that, stuff that would get packaged along with some of the movies that would get shipped out. Any standees, especially. Cardboard standees are always expensive online, and I would love to see if this store has any hidden in their back rooms. I'd also like to get a shelf, one that you can put on the back wall and actually display the movies facing forward. I don't really have the space for something like that, but man, if I could reconfigure my movie room or even have a bigger movie room in the future, it'd be cool to have at least one shelf where I could display the movies like that. Even if it was just a few movies, we'll see. I did leave with this private parts microphone, or I guess it's also a radio. It's not actually a microphone at all. It seems like it's going to be a radio, but we'll have to plug it in at home. Hopefully I can find something that will fit the connector. But otherwise, it'd be kind of a nice thing to have on the desk, right? Talk like I'm in an old radio show. Thanks for watching. And simply install some batteries to the bottom of it. You can actually turn this thing on. Even lights up. I can't find any information about this mic online, but it's not a mic. It's a radio. And it actually works. And you can tune it. That's incredible. You got AM and FM on there. So cool. And the fact that it lights up on the top. So cool. And here's from the last time a Video Vision closed here in Duluth. They had all these cases available. So I took a couple. They didn't have these this time in Superior, but we'll have to check back there soon in the coming months. See what else is available.